So hello friends, this is a video of our new virtual electrodermal screening in TCM module, and you start this just by going to Methods and then virtual EDS, and then you get a graph like this. The idea of the virtual EDS was born from my experience with electrodermal screening. I was using conventional electrodermal screening for almost 2 years before actually I started developing CoRe system, and eventually I saw it is similar to a pendulum. The more you press and the faster you apply the electrode, the higher the reading. And of course this is not a well accepted idea in the field of those people who actually sell electrodermal screening and who promote the idea that it's a purely objective physical measurement. But anyway, that was my experience. Now we actually found a very open-minded electrodermal screening company that allows us to use their software on a commission basis. And what we are doing is just we generate those 24 readings with our proprietary CoRe algorithm that you would usually do with point testing. Now what you see here, we have generated right now, it takes less than a second for myself right now, and at the bottom you see lung, pericardium, heart, then there is the triple energizer, large intestine, spleen, and so on. And then we have readings here. The maximum here is at the kidney of 200. Now, for those who do electrodermal screening, something immediately stands out, and it's very strange that some of the readings are like the first one, the lung, the right lung is 0, the left pericardium is 0. How is this possible? Because with regular electrodermal screening, where you measure a point, this is not possible because you measure always something. But for all those who know the CoRe and know the philosophy behind, I have in several times explained why on the informational level there is no absolute value, because in the informational matrix there is no time and space, and difference in time and space creates different events in different bodies, and the distance in time and space creates the idea or the concept of quantity. So if there's no distance, if everything is 1, of course there's no quantity. If there's no quantity, there's no absolute values. And we understand what Goethe said when he said, the number is nothing, and the relationship is everything. But of course, in our culture, numbers and absolute values have the predominant role, because we think number is something, it's a measure, whereas in all the old traditions we were taught that only relationship, proportion is the measure of things. So that's why you have sacred geometry is about proportions, and music is about proportions. So this you will see here also. We have to, or it's part of the algorithm, that everything is normalized or automatically to the main value. Just in our evaluation, there's always the top one is a 100. So we normalize here on the baseline. So every reading that is equal to the baseline within our range of reproducibility, which is about plus minus 18%, is normalized to 0. So you see, that's why there is quite a few zeros that would not happen otherwise. Now you see the blue, green, and red line. This really refers to the normal way of doing electrodermal screening. There's just a normal, it's the average. But here we don't have this because the average is the baseline. So now what you have to look at here is really what stands out. And what stands out here is the right kidney. And you will see also in all the readings, usually most of the bars will be pink, purple, because it's all a relative value. So usually there is a split, there is a difference, because this is the way the algorithm is create, and this also aligns with the idea of the DLE, with the polarity, and this is why this graph is much easier to read than normal electrodermal screening readings, which I'll show you later also. But now what do you do with this? Actually, I can show you one record that normal, you all have it. You go to patients and then show patients, and of course that's the American virus. Don't show it to anybody else. Nobody wants to be seen on your list. So okay, we say okay, and now we say the example patient, and then we check one example and look at the graphs here, and you see this is how you would expect a normal electrodermal screening reading to look like. You have some which are above, way above the average, the green line, and they are called high, and then there are the blue ones which are low. And left and right is usually very close because, again, it's an absolute value, which is, to me, it's not so very interesting, and that's based on the way it's done with physical testing. So now let's look again at my values here, and now look at this. As I say, kidney is the highest. Now what you do with this? The very most important aspect of this system is that you can use it with the health navigator or the health integrator, or soon also with the laser, to know where you want to apply the electrodes for applying frequencies. And for this you can go to, let's say, for ear acupuncture points, you go, these are the most resonant ear acupuncture points that are not resonant, but that according to Chinese tradition would be applied for such a spectrum of reading. So you can just click on the first point here, for example, to see the different points where you apply the electrode, and we have this acupuncture electrode. Okay, acupuncture at the ear is difficult. At the back, I would think it's easier, and here we can do the same. So okay, but the one which I consider the best and the most concise is the one based on the 5 elements, and here you can click again here, and then you see not so many and very defined points, which also gives you a little bit of a reading about what they mean. But consider one thing: Chinese medicine is very old tradition, and so there have a lot of people wanted to add their little bit of their few cents of ideas. So it has grown, and I think for me it's more like a science where you don't see the forest anymore because of the tree, or the tree because of the forest. So it's a little bit too much to my taste. But if you do Chinese medicine, if you do acupuncture, there's no better system than this, because here you can first of all test with one click all the meridians, and then it gives you all the detailed information what these mean, what those points mean, and then together with the laser or health integrator, health navigator, you actually can then go to the points and apply resonant frequencies. So, okay, so now, but what else can you do? You cannot export it to the core and run auto communications. That's something we'll do in the future. But for now, that's not possible. So it's purely, at this point, a purely diagnostic. But again, it's diagnostic in a very comprehensive way. This baseline diagram is basically contains everything. But if you don't know much about Chinese medicine, you can see order this baseline diagram in terms of yin and yang, and then easily you see here, okay, it's not so strong, but here the yin is a little bit more, of course, like in all other readings with informational medicine. It doesn't mean there's too much yin, no, or it means too little yin. It means there's a resonance. There is something you have to look at, a certain resonance that you have to discuss with the patient, or if you have a little bit more intuition, you can see Kieran Schmidt, he's running around, so he needs a little bit more yin, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm in like a little town in Portugal and being more for myself. Then you can see the baseline also ordered in the terms of the 5 elements. Again, if you have a little bit idea about Chinese medicine, you would not even need to click here. You would know, okay, kidney is associated with water. Then the other 3 here, I don't even click on those. Yeah, I can click on those, but they are really, yeah, this is one where you can see, okay, if you know water element is associated to the time 3 to 7 p.m., you can see, okay, there is probably some things that happen. For me, it's the time of the least energy. And so there's more to see here. I think this one and the ratios and the pi is not very interesting, because we are all doing it in a relative way. So you just look at the baseline. That's what I suggest. Look at the baseline, look at what stands out, and if everything is almost the same, I mean, that's where it's hard to say where's the issue. But like here, you can see easily it's the kidney. And when you have this and you don't know anything, you can then go to information, and there is actually every baseline difference is here more explained in detail. Like, for example, here for me, the kidney meridian dominates reproduction, water metabolism. Okay, we know this. Bone, hair, hearing, growth. So your kidney meridian is split. This means there's a significant imbalance in the meridian energy at the right and left of your body. Okay, we know this also. Energy disturbance in the kidney may involve one or more of the following: emotional criticism, bad memory, I can say this, and impending doom is always there. Failure is always an issue, and so this is what gives you here in a very easy overview. And if you print it all out together, it's 10 pages, which gives a lot of reading material for your client if you want it. I'm not so much a friend of too much information. But what you can do also then, when you know, okay, there's a water issue, then you can go to reference, and you go to water. And there's much more information here, but I just show you this, and it shows you in relationship to the lung, where's the point that you can then, with the acupuncture electrode, that you can treat, or pericardium, or with the heart, and so on. You can, let's look at the kidney again here. So you can then know exactly where to apply those electrodes. So let's look at the graphs here again. I know the most important feature now is the ability to know where to apply the electrodes, and when you use it, you get more and more a very quick understanding of acupuncture and the ideas of Chinese medicine, and you're not so lost in all this super abundance of information. You come to the point right in a very quick and simple way. So I think this is a very, very valuable addition, and I will do another screen recording each time, each posting, and it depends on your questions. Where you have questions about functions, about the core system or the version 6, I'll answer your questions in this way. It's the most, for me, most easy way, and for you, the most easy to understand way. And I can do it anywhere, and as I do now, for example, in a very beautiful town here in Portugal. I can show you a little bit around. This is surrounded by a wall, and it's blue sky, and so I look forward to your answers, to your questions. Of course, your answers would be even better, and then until next posting. See you then.